Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing stage 3 conversion on this facelift RS3. We're going to also be doing disc conversions, basically fitting the wavy type disc to the front of the car as well. So what we'll do is we'll give you a bit of a walkthrough step by step, exactly what's going on the vehicle, what the vehicle's already got. We're looking to install the TT 700 on this one, so we're looking expected on pump fuel about 620 horsepower and about 540 foot-pounds of torque. So you know, it's a very popular mod we're doing at the moment, using the APR tuning software. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be installing the wavy front discs. The reason the customer's requested this is to match his VBT RS3 wavy brake conversion that's on the rear of the vehicle. This is not a straightforward fit onto a saloon model. They have slightly different front hubs, which makes it obviously difficult to fit these. So we've got a modification that is going to make these fit perfectly. Once they're installed, we're going to go ahead then and start installing the turbo components. Okay, so as you can see, the new rotors are on. It's gone with the OE wavy rotors to match the rear RS3 ones, as mentioned before. We threw in a fresh set of brake pads in there as well while we've been at it, obviously made up nicely with the new disc. We're just literally going to throw the wheel back on. And then we'll move on to the turbo upgrade. Okay guys, so this RS3 is already fitted with stage 2 hardware, so this car's already running the APR stage 2 software. It's running a Eventuri stage 3 intake. It runs all the way to the turbo. It's got the additional Eventuri turbo elbow on there. It's running the Wagner Performance Competition Intercooler on there, and it's also running the APR downpipe. In addition to these parts, we're going to fit a TT 700 turbo. We're also going to install uprated port injectors, which are 980cc, and we're also going to fit the CTS turbo elbow, throttle body elbow, not turbo elbow. We're going to install that as well. This will give it, you know, a bit of added airflow. But as we're installing the parts as we go along, we'll talk a little bit about what they do and, you know, the use of what they are as an upgrade, basically. So what we're going to go ahead and do right now is we're going to remove the upper section of the manifold, the inlet manifold, and we're going to be able to then fit the CTS elbow, and then what we'll do at the same time is we'll fit the port injectors. Right, so basically now we're going to remove the port injectors. So this is basically runs on the low pressure system. These are directly into the intake manifold, and obviously individual port injection. These are also on the, you know, hand in hand with the direct injection, so they sit basically straight into the cylinder. These are obviously added as an aid, and you know, most of the time when things change, it's generally down to emissions as well. So we're going to remove this rail. You don't have to remove the intake manifold to change these injectors or to remove this rail. We're just going to do it while it's off, just for ease. And then once we have it removed, we're going to go ahead and we're going to test the new injectors on our as-new machine, and we can confirm that they're all good and ready to do the work. Okay, so we've got the brand new injectors. The 980cc EV14s are loaded into the as-new machine. We're going to run them through a series of tests just to make sure that they are you know, tip-top and up to the job. I know they are brand new, but you know, we've been bitten in the backside quite a few times by brand new parts failing. So we have the machine, we may as well just test them to make sure that they're good. So we're going to run them through a series of tests, and then we'll install them in the vehicle. Okay, so for a bit of say fun, but something a little bit more informative, is what we've actually done is I've loaded the last two injectors up with the stock ones, so you'll be able to see obviously the difference in flow and fuel that's supplied under the same sort of conditions. So we've got it set for 6 seconds, so you can see exactly, you know, how much fuel it can put in a matter of just 6 seconds. So as you can see, you know, dramatic difference obviously between the two port injectors. The reason obviously we installed these is for the capabilities. Okay, so we're going to, obviously we've removed it from the intake manifold. This is the throttle body elbow, this is the stock one. You can see obviously the diameter internally, it's quite a, you know, serious angle there. So what we're doing is we're going to fit the CTS one. Now this obviously limits, you know, the angle of the airflow and is, you know, much larger internal volume, which again all aids in the help of the airflow. This is the stock sort of flange that sits between the throttle body. It's just, you know, a cast piece of aluminium. This particular kit comes with its own flange. It's tapped for, you know, you could either run pre-throttle body sort of methanol injection, or you can basically get your boost tap from here as well. Cool thing about this kit also is it comes with the lower section of the boost hose, which again you can run the methanol injection or use one of these two as a boost tap. One of the things I would recommend when doing this is replacing the compression gaskets for new ones, because they are pretty much just a one-time use gasket. Okay, so now that we have the inlet manifold reinstalled, the CTS elbow, charge pipe and spacer installed along with the port injectors, we're going to move on to removing and then reinstalling with the TTE 700. Okay, so what we're going to do now is swap some of the lines over, the oil feed, coolant feeds and returns over, and then we're going to reinstall it into the car. We're going to change obviously the seals, and we're going to change the exhaust manifold gasket. So generally a hybrid is considered, a hybrid when it uses the original housings from the turbo. What they do is they machine out the cores on both the cold side and the hot side, and allows them to run a bigger turbine wheel and a bigger compressor wheel. And if you can see the differences between the stock turbine wheels, and if you come around to this side you can see the difference between the stock versus the TTE compressor wheel. Now that we've got the turbo in place, we're just going to replenish the coolant. We're also going to carry out a oil and filter change. Okay, so right now we're just in the middle of flashing the ECU and the TCU tune to the vehicle. That'll allow us to start the car, get everything to temperature, then we can recheck the oil level and the coolant levels. One of the things we will do is, once that is done, we will carry out a pressure test on the charge pressure system just to make sure that's tight and then all ready for the dyno. Yeah, so as you can see, the car's sitting lower than it was before. In addition to the Stage 3 package, the customers requested some racing line coil springs. So we're just currently carrying out the wheel alignment, and we are then going to install customers supplied Maxton Designs front splitter and side skirts. Right, now we've got the vehicle on the dyno. We're going to just run through the calibration, just do a few checks and data logging, just make sure everything's as it should be. Okay guys, so that concludes the Stage 3 build on this APR TT 700 RS3. This car, you know, makes for a really fast daily, 607 horsepower and 505 foot-pounds of torque. Makes this, you know, an absolute monster. You know, safe. The torque's capped low to, you know, help the life of the engine, longevity of the engine. Any questions you've got on the build, any questions you have in general, or you know, you just want to see, or any suggestions in what you want to see on the channel going forward, then you know, hit us up in the comments. Thanks for watching.